So a nice quick one this morning. I started researching my next video, or next possible video, because I do change my mind quite a lot. My next video is possibly going to be about endurance bikes, sportive bikes, endurance bikes, whatever you want to call them. And the first one I started looking at was the ROUBAIX from Specialized. I was going to use that as sort of my base compare bike to compare the others to. And when I went to the Specialized website and I typed in ROUBAIX, obviously the ROUBAIX turned up. It also listed the Diverge, which is a bike I'd never really seen before or knew anything about. And I looked at it and I thought, hang on, that looks the same as the ROUBAIX. But of course, once you start digging into it, you realise it is different. And I tried to find some resources online to see what the differences are, and it was a little bit unclear. So I thought I'll do a quick one this morning. So the first bike obviously was the S-Works ROUBAIX McLaren DuraAce Di2. And if you're willing to pay another £495 over the S-Works ROUBAIX DuraAce Di2 and get the McLaren version, you get this gushing orange paint job, if that's your thing. Lovely jubbly. You get some different hubs on your wheels and you get some different bar tape, and I think that might be it. You can check out the website and see, but don't know, seems like a lot of money for nothing to do with McLaren to me. Anyway, always a skeptic. So this bike here, the McLaren version, £9,995. That's a lot of money for a bike. Well, would you race on it? Well, I don't know. I guess if you're going to do the Paris-Roubaix, you might race on it. Interesting. Would I spend that sort of money? Well, probably not, no. Anyway, so what does it weigh? You know, you're going to spend that much money, it's probably good to know how much it weighs. But between them, Specialized and McLaren can't seem to sort out some scales to weigh their bikes. So it's a mystery. I've got no idea. And I've looked online to try and find other resources with the weight, but I can find nothing. So that's good. On the Specialized website, it talks about how it's made of the Fact 11R carbon and how that's their top tier carbon. But I know that the Tarmac SL6 is made of 12R carbon, so I don't know, 12's higher than 11, isn't it? So I'm imagining that it's not the top tier carbon. Anyway, there we go. DuraAce Di2 discs. So we've got this thing, it's called the Future Shock Suspension. It offers 20mm of travel, and Specialized describe it as a piston in the head tube. So obviously this bike gets its name from what is possibly my favourite race of the year, the Paris-Roubaix, where they have to ride over cobbled roads that are pretty rough. So the manufacturers have been experimenting with different types of little bits of suspension in their endurance bikes, and that's where they test it out. So on the rear we've got this thing here, and I can't actually see anything on the website about what's going on here, but they used to have a thing on this called the Zert insert that was a little plastic thing that gave it a bit more flex, and I can't see that on this model, so I'm assuming this does something similar. But also we've got this rather weird shaped seat tube that kind of looks like a bird that swallowed something, but I guess you can tell by looking at that the carbon flexes and a little bit of rubber there stops it flexing too much, but you're going to get a bit of compliance in the seat area. So I guess that's good. It looks weird to me, don't really like that. This looks weird to me as well, don't really like that, but I'm sure it's all super comfortable and lovely. What I really cannot tolerate is this thing here. That just looks hideous. I'm sure it's lovely to be able to carry something in that, great, but there's other ways of carrying stuff, and that just ruins the look of the bike for me. Just my personal opinion. It's supposed to be an amazingly good bike. Don't know what it weighs. I don't like the look of it, and the whole McLaren thing, I think, is just the marketing boys having a laugh. Anyway, so on to the Diverge, and we'll look at these numbers in a minute when we look at the Diverge to see what the differences are. The S-Works Diverge, and flicking between the two, initial reaction is, oh yes, it is quite a lot different. It's clearly longer, quite a lot longer, look. It's obviously got a single chain ring up front, so no derailleur up front. Looks like you can fit one there, maybe. And it's not DuraAce, it's actually XTR on the back, I think, Di2. And this paint job looks quite interesting, looks sort of iridescent, which is quite cool, I quite like that. Obviously got your hideous shopping basket in the bit there, which obviously again I hate. The forks are quite a different shape, a bit more burly, and obviously we've got a it's a bit more raked out, isn't it? So it's got a head tube angle that is 1 degree slacker than the Roubaix, so you can see that straight away. It's got your future shock suspension piston thingy. The Diverge has 38mm tyres on it, and the Roubaix has 28mm tyres. In fact, they basically are the same wheels, aren't they, by the looks of things? Now, this is quite interesting here. They've put a dropper post on it. Well, I call it a dropper post. It's 35mm of travel, which, I don't know. It's obviously going to be heavier. Does that weigh up? Don't know. Is it worth it for 35mm of travel? Not sure about that one. So just looking at the numbers, obviously 8,500, so that is quite a bit cheaper than our McLaren. Again, the weight's a mystery. If anybody knows what these weights are, put them in the comments below, that'd be handy. Again, fact 11R carbon. The wheelbase, as we can see, the Diverge is definitely longer by 18mm, which is actually quite a lot. The stack, tiny bit taller, 2mm, and the reach slightly less by 2mm over the Roubaix. Head angle, as I just said, is 1 degree slacker, which gives it a trail that is 3mm more than the Roubaix, which means that with the longer wheelbase and a bit more trail, it's going to feel more stable but a bit more sluggish in the turns. Okay, so that's the Diverge and the Roubaix, geared more towards sort of gravel riding. I guess that's what we're calling it now. I guess this is Specialized gravel bike. And you might start wondering to yourself, well, is this getting into mountain bike territory? And that is exactly what I thought to myself. So I thought what I can do is I can compare it to one of Specialized mountain bikes, and I chose in the end the Camber 29er, because actually a 29-inch wheel has the same, is it the diameter? I guess it's the diameter. Oh, I was rubbish at maths at school. Anyway, the 29-inch wheel is the same as the 700C wheel in most respects. Moving on, the Camber. So immediately you can see the gravel bike is nowhere near a mountain bike yet, and with my setup here on the Diverge showing you the Camber, doesn't even fit on the screen because it's so much longer. And you can see obviously how much higher up you are at the front, so that when you're going downhill, when you hit a rock or something, you use the travel in the forks rather than all your weight going over the front and you're going over the handlebars, which is obviously a problem. Obviously the mountain bike's got a bit more drop on its dropper post, 125mm, and a heck of a lot more suspension. So no, the Diverge is not a mountain bike, and if you overlay the handlebars, the seat and the back wheel of the Diverge, it gives you a really good indication of how different they are. So there we go. That was a quick video just to have a look at the difference between the Diverge and the Roubaix, just because I thought they looked quite similar, but they're not really. Okay, so if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see any new videos that I make, then please subscribe to my channel.